Yo, what is up, guys? It's your boy Jelson here, and today we're back with a brand new NBA related video. And we have a very special guest. You want to introduce yourself, man? Go ahead.
Yeah, man. Rik Knows Hoops on YouTube. If you're familiar with my content, yeah, Justin, I appreciate you having me on the channel, my guy.
Had to. I was on your channel not too long ago, and we're talking about had to do a collab, and this is a little bit of a series that I was thinking about doing, and we're going to be rating every position throughout multiple different videos. We'll have a 5-video series, and today we have point guards, which was a struggle to find a list that actually made any sense.
It was, but we found one. This one only had one minor issue, which is Johnny Davis on the list when knowing damn well he's not a point guard. That's the only issue.
Or like the last one, I'd rather have Johnny Davis on here than having Chris Dunn.
I agree. I think Johnny Davis is a much better NBA player already than Chris Dunn will be if he ever gets another chance. No shade at Chris Dunn, but just
Minnesota Timberwolves legend.
Five pick.
All right, so let's just get straight into it because I think this is gonna be the easiest one of the whole video. Steph Curry.
It goes without saying, man. At worst, I haven't done my point guard rankings yet, but he's at worst top 2, at very worst.
They will leave him here. Okay, I love Steph Curry.
That's some Bleacher Report stuff. Putting Steph Curry in the D tier.
I think S is a no question.
Yeah, I mean, at worst, it's between him and Luka, who's the best point guard in the game right now. I've seen a lot of people's lists so far. It's either Curry or some might have Luka.
Yeah.
I'm not going to reveal who I have number 1, but I got kind of an idea based off of last season. Who's my number 1?
Yeah, so I think we're going to do for S. You want to just do top 3 point guards in the league for S?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I had the top 3 guys.
All right, now I have my opinions on Darius Garland here.
I have my opinions.
Let me hear yours.
I think I remember we talked on my channel when we were talking about Anthony Edwards, how he can be a dark horse kind of guy. I think Darius Garland can be that too.
Okay, so what is your idea of a ranking?
In my opinion, he's A tier. I think he's top 5, top 6 right now. Based off of last season, obviously Dame missed time, Kyrie missed a lot of time. But based off of last season, I would probably have him ranked in the top 6. I think he's that good. And if we're projecting, I think he's gonna have a top 5 point guard kind of year.
I'm feeling the B tier, but I think A is a solid tier to keep him in, and just with the room to move down if needed. Because I like Darius Garland a lot, but I just don't. There's just something about him I don't necessarily enjoy watching as much. He's very exciting to watch, but I just don't think he has the extreme high upside like some people think he has. Like you were saying, I don't see the extremely high upside. Obviously I see him being an all-star. He already has been an all-star, but being a perennial all-star for years to come.
That's a discussion, man. I don't know. I can see it for sure. Small guard, obviously, not like a blistering athlete like John Morant, but he's just so sound. He's really like a young Chris Paul. That's how I see his game. Maybe that's why I'm very in love with his game, because I'm a big Chris Paul fan as well. But I can definitely see both sides why some people think his ceiling might be around where it is now, but I think he has another level to tap into. He's still so young at the same time, man. But I see your side of things for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I think A's, we can move him down or up, whatever. But Chris Paul, the guy you compared him to.
I didn't even think he was next. What do you think? Because he's tough. He's about to be 37 if he's not already 37.
He's an A tier.
He's old. I mean, he still is really good. He's old though.
I guess. Well, I suppose are we projecting here? Do you think he'll be an A tier point guard next year, or are we gonna go off of last season?
Based off of last season, he was all NBA, led the league in assists. I would say he was A tier. If I am projecting, which I think we should probably base this more so off of last season. If I'm projecting though, I think he has the potential to maybe fall out of the top 10, just because I don't expect a big time season from him. It might be much of the same as last year, maybe a little less. But based off of last season, I think A tier is a pretty sound ranking for Chris Paul.
I agree. I think A tier's where he should be. Now this is where the controversy comes in. Right here. Is Ja S tier or is he A tier?
I think he's like high. He's like high A tier, man. Like he's as close as you can get to being S tier, but he's not.
I agree. I think he needs maybe another year of that production.
Just better health too. Better health.
Exactly. I think that's
like 70-ish games, man. It's scary. It really is. I know Timberwolves fans might have their beef with Ja and the Grizzlies, but he's like that. Like he's really, really good.
Well, I'll say I'm a Timberwolves fan and all that, but coming into the draft, Ja was my favorite guy. So it's kind of hard. It's hard to really hate on him, but
yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough though, man. I would say based off of last season, he's probably like top 4 consensus, maybe 5 depending on who you're looking at. But when he was on the court, man, he was so good, like electric. Like you said, he's like one of the most entertaining guys in the league.
Yeah. All right. So I got a question here though. Through A tier, Chris Paul or Darius Garland?
That's tough.
I know my guy.
I'm gonna go Darius, man.
Me too.
Go Darius. He had a little more on his shoulders last season than Chris Paul. Chris Paul got Devin Booker to lean on. Darius Garland didn't have that. He was leaning on Lamar Stevens and Karis LeVert, who wasn't really that good. Like he was leaning on guys that really had no business getting a lot of perimeter responsibilities. Like he was almost everything for the Cavs offensively.
I 100% agree. That's where I was going too. Now we can skip him.
Is that Reggie?
Now Reggie Jackson, I think it's a C tier.
I think he's about C tier. Yeah, he wasn't terrible last season. He was just good as a starting point guard, which he's probably not a starter, which is why they went and got John Wall.
Unless it's the play-in and you just take 150 shots and make about 3.5 of them.
Yes, he was horrible in the play-in.
Yeah. Jamal Murray.
This is tough because he hasn't played, but the last time we saw him play, he was really good.
Yeah, last time we saw him play, we were kind of all off the high of Jamal Murray being like a playoff god.
Yeah.
But injuries, didn't play at all last year. Even in the regular season the last time he played, he wasn't.
That was probably, I would say, his best season. Like, shot the ball a lot more efficiently. I think he was up to like 21 points a game. He was really good until he got hurt, obviously. But still, like, not an all-star. Definitely a tier below the Garlands, the Morants. I would say B.
I agree.
Somewhere in that B tier. I think this season we'll see, obviously, coming off the injury, how much he's restricted early on. But, he has all the potential to rise, though, because his game's not really based off of being super explosive. He's a very skilled guy. So we'll see how he comes back.
So, yeah, I think Jamal Murray being B tier is pretty perfect. Like, that's like when I think of Jamal Murray, I think of B tier all the way. It's kind of how I feel about Reggie Jackson. Immediately, I thought C tier.
Yeah, for sure.
But now this is a tough one coming up. Marcus Smart. Now you're a Celtics fan.
Correct.
I'm an under the table Celtics fan.
You guys almost traded for Marcus Smart, apparently.
Yeah. So I'm putting him in S tier. No. We'll put him. What do you think about B tier?
He's like, he brings so much to the table defensively, man. He's like, but based off of last season, I mean, the defense player of the year was averaging like, I think around 6 assists, 12 points. Put him at C right now, but like above Reggie Jackson. He's like C plus. He's like a high C plus for me, man.
It's kind of like how Ja is in the A tier.
Yes, exactly. Like Ja's like high A right now. Marcus Smart's like C plus for now. For now, maybe he moves up like when we get to the end, but right now I think C plus. I don't want to overrate him based off of defensive player of the year, which a lot of people think he probably should have won.
Yeah. All right. Now the man that got a lot of money this offseason, Jalen Brunson.
How are you feeling, man? Go ahead.
I think I think Jalen Brunson is in the same category as Jamal Murray.
I agree, man. I think people looked at that contract and they really lost their minds. It's not that big of a payday. It's a big payday, obviously, but it's not like he's getting like Darius Garland money. He's getting like top 15, 16 point guard rank money. Like that's what he's getting.
And I think he's worse than Jamal Murray, but he's in the B tier.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think he has nothing but room to jump up because you're playing with Luka. You're as good as the season he had. There's going to be some limitations. Like Luka's going to have the ball majority of the time. Now he's the lead guard, so we'll see. Like he could potentially jump up to like 19, 20 points a game.
Yeah,
it's possible for sure. So he has all the room, I think, to even jump up. You know, maybe to like a high B tier kind of guy. Like we'll see.
Well, moving on, we got my point guard. Yeah, Joe Russell.
A lot of mixed feelings on D-Lo. A lot of mixed feelings.
I have my immediate thought, and I'm gonna be rational, obviously, because as a term, I'm like S tier. No, but let me know what you're thinking.
What I think about D-Lo, playoffs aside, I think last season was the best year of his career, in my opinion. Just from what I saw from his growth defensively, him taking a really, really backseat to Ant and Cat, that was impressive. Just felt like more of a floor general, man. He's like, I think he's kind of like on that same, like I think he's above Marcus Smart.
I was thinking a B tier above Jalen Brunson, but below Jamal Murray.
I was kind of thinking below Jalen Brunson even.
I wouldn't do that because I think D'Angelo Russell provides a lot more on defense than Jalen Brunson does.
Okay.
And playmaking too.
That's fair. Yeah, I think if we're regular season wise, D-Lo was really good. I just think everybody thinks the playoffs is like, I can agree with that. Him like maybe just slightly ahead of Jalen Brunson.
Yeah,
I can agree with that.
Similar tier.
Let me ask you, if you could swap D-Lo for Jalen Brunson on the Timberwolves, would you do it?
No. Like,
okay.
It's like no, I wouldn't do that.
Okay.
But I like for Jamal Murray, it's like if you were to ask me that, I would swap him all day.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Now,
Kyle Lowry.
Oof. We got thick boy up here.
Hey, he lost weight. He's skinny now.
All right.
In shape. Last season was not great for Kyle Lowry.
Yeah.
Injuries, playoffs was bad. I know we're just talking about regular season, but playoffs were, it was bad. Like, it was really bad. I would put him in the C tier, man. Like, based off of last season, didn't really show like he was the old Kyle Lowry, man. Injuries played a part in that, obviously. But we got to talk about what we saw. It wasn't good. So I'll put him in the C tier.
What do you think about right between the two?
I think that's perfect. I think Marcus Smart was better last year. Regular season, playoffs, I think he was better.
Now, I agree. I think Kyle Lowry just had a down year. Obviously, apparently he was very out of shape. And just injuries and all that. He just wasn't good, to put it like bluntly. I think C tier is perfect. He was better than Reggie Jackson, but he was like not nearly as good as Marcus Smart.
I agree.
Now De'Aaron Fox is an interesting one because
it was a down year, but it was still not bad. And second half of the season, he was insane.
When they had second half of the season, I think I can't remember, it was like the last 2 weeks of the season or something. He averaged like 28 points per game.
I think it was post trade deadline, like after they traded Halliburton. With Sabonis, he was killing.
Yeah.
And then I think they shut him down like maybe the last couple weeks or so.
Yeah.
A little higher on De'Aaron than I think other people, man. I was thinking about B tier, but below Brunson, because I think Brunson was better last season. I think he was more impactful for the, over the course of the entire season. But man, I think out of all the guys in that tier, I think De'Aaron has the chance to like jump up more than anybody. Like buy stock in De'Aaron Fox.
I 100% agree. He was also my favorite player coming out of that draft. It's because I have a type of player that I very much enjoy, athletic point guards. I think with Sabonis on his team next year, I think he could be an A tier point guard, to be honest. But as of right now, yeah, I agree. He wasn't as good as Jalen Brunson, wasn't as good as D'Lo, wasn't as good as Jamal Murray. And like you asked me the question, like if you were to ask me the Jalen Brunson, how you said it, would you rather or would you switch right now D'Lo with whoever? I would switch D'Lo with De'Aaron Fox, but that's banking on his future.
Yeah, I agree.
But as of right now, I think D'Lo's better.
Yeah, for sure.
Cade Cunningham. This is
difficult. I was just like peeping ahead. I seen Cade. I'm a big Cade guy. I think if we're projecting, I think he's like gonna be in that B tier this season. He was really good for a rookie, but when you compare it to like other NBA guys, his splits were kind of terrible. Just normal rookie stuff, man. It's tough for me to say he's like on the B tier with De'Aaron, with Brunson, D'Lo, but I think he's better than everybody on the C tier as well, based off of last season.
I think he's better than De'Aaron Fox.
You do? I think moving forward, yeah, but based off of last season, I would say no.
Yeah, that's it. I think end of B tier. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's fair. It's either end of B tier or he's the first guy in C tier.
Yeah. I don't know. I like Cade a lot too. Yeah, I think I'm blinded by bias. Now this is a guy that should be in the same tier as all those guys.
But I think he's the best. I think Drew Holiday's the best one.
I agree.
He's a bona fide top 10 point guard from last season, like easily. What we know what he brings defensively, but even when like we saw what his offensive upside can be when Middleton was out in the playoffs, like he really stepped up big time.
So, well, last year he had a down year defensively, but had an up year offensively. So top of B tier, low A tier.
I would say top of B tier, man. I think looking ahead, there's some guys that I would probably have ahead of him, and I wouldn't want to have A tier like with too many names.
I agree. Fred VanVleet.
He was an all-star.
He was. I'd put him ahead Jamal Murray.
Yeah, I would say so, man. Just based off of even though his second half of the season was kind of pathetic in a way, he was dealing with injuries too. But I think he's definitely around that Murray, right behind Drew Holiday type of range.
I agree. I definitely do agree. He provides a lot on offense, and he's a very good defender for his size. I think that's enough. I don't know. He's just better than Jamal Murray. We haven't seen Jamal Murray play in a while. Fred VanVleet was an all-star.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shout out to Freddie.
Facts. Trey Jones.
Now, I don't even know if Trey Jones is going to be the starting point guard.
I don't
personally. I would say Josh Primo. But either way, both of those guys are below average starters. So D tier is the only way that you can go with that.
Minnesota legend.
Yeah, Trey Jones.
From
don't they have a little brother too?
I think so.
I think he's like, I don't know if he's at college now or if he's about to be like next year, but
yeah,
that family got basketball in their blood
for sure. Put it on for Minnesota.
Definitely.
Tyrese Halliburton
was really good. He was really good when he got traded too. Yeah, I think he has to be B tier, man. I think he was better than Cade. I don't know if I would have him above like D'Lo, Jalen Brunson, just because it wasn't for a full season.
Yeah.
But what he did second half of the season really boosted him a lot, I would say.
You like him right here?
Yeah, that's cool. The more I'm thinking about it, we'll keep Cade there for now. I feel like he might have to get bumped down at some point, though.
I kind of agree. I like Tyrese a lot. His shooting percentage is fantastic, but I still have questions about his jump shot and how efficient or how productive it can be, because he pretty much only shoots 3-pointers when he's wide open, which is not a bad thing. But I do have questions about his own personal shot creation.
Yeah, I felt like I had those questions too, but I saw at times last season, obviously it was on display when he had like that crazy game in Philly, but He was more comfortable shooting side steps, which I think nowadays is like something every shot creator has in their bag. So I think that was impressive, but I do agree. Like, we just got to see that more often, see if that can become like a really like critical part of his game. But other than that, flow game's elite, pick and roll game elite. Somebody that I think can average like 20 and 10 this season. Like, if he really wants to, I think he can. Very, very, very solid player, man. I still remember Kings fans really defending that trade. And I'm like, nah, y'all lost the future, but we'll see how it works out for them. But yeah, like you said, I'm also a big fan of Tyrese.
Yeah. Mike Conley. I think C.
Yeah, he's old. He's an old man, bro.
my question is he better or worse than Reggie Jackson?
I say he's better. I would still probably rather have Mike Conley as my starting point guard than Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there's much to say about Mike Conley. He's a solid 3-point shooter, solid defender, solid playmaker. He's just solid.
Yeah. His best days are definitely behind him, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think he could still somewhere be like a quality NBA starter. Like, he's not going to win a lot of games for you, but he's definitely not going to lose them either.
He really gives me like Kevin Love vibes. Like, Kevin Love is like a 6th man for Cleveland, but like he's still good, but he's just old.
Just old. Like, father time caught up, but he's still productive.
Yeah. Now the best point guard that ever existed, Johnny Davis.
This is so great. We might just have to leave him off the list because like
he's so good.
He's so good. Big 10 player of the year, lottery pick. But people who make tier lists really need to like just do a little bit of backup, like just a little bit of background research, man. Johnny Davis is not a point guard, like at all. Like he's as shooting guard as a shooting guard comes. 6'6", 6'5", 6'6". He's a 2, not really a primary initiator. He is a shooting guard. So
yeah,
just for any tier list makers that are watching this.
Yeah, I don't know much about him, so I'll take your information as fact. CJ McCollum.
CJ, man. Oof. The only thing, he didn't play point guard a lot last season. But yeah, I think he's right around B tier range.
I think he's worse than Fred.
You think so? I might be slightly biased because CJ is like one of my favorite players in basketball.
Actually, no. He was so productive last year.
I also think he's better than Freddie, man.
He was so productive with New Orleans.
Yeah,
he has to be higher.
Could you imagine if he was there the full season, like
first All-Star season?
Probably, yeah, healthy, probably an All-Star year. Like really, I was kind of surprised. Like they were like, yeah, we're gonna run him at point guard. I'm like, we've never really seen him do that. Like, a lot during his NBA career. Maybe when Dame misses a couple games here and there, but he did it, and it seemed like he's been playing the lead guard his entire career. Like, it was really impressive.
I agree. I like CJ a lot. I think literally everything improved last year, but that's because he was in a better situation. Now I want to move Cade down.
I think that's fair, man. Like we said, good year for a rookie, but when you're comparing it to everybody else, I just don't think he's on that tier after last season. After this season, I think he will be, maybe even higher. Like, who knows? I think the sky's the limit for him. But I think, I agree. He's like C plus, high C plus, man.
Now I think this should be the easiest, one of the easiest we've done.
Do we even have to like speak about Luka? We know
Luka is in contention for best player in the league.
I don't think that's really too far-fetched, man. I want to see how this season is. He just makes guys better. Like, he's one of those players that really just makes everybody better. Like, hell, Christian Wood might be in conversation for All-Star games this year.
The way I think about things is like the only person, in my opinion, that I'd rather have than Luka is Giannis.
If we're building a franchise, those are like top 2 guys.
Yeah, and Giannis, for me, it's like Giannis is kind of like how LeBron was when LeBron was in his prime. It's like you wouldn't take anyone else but LeBron. Well, LeBron was in his prime. Same thing with Giannis. You don't take anyone else except for Giannis. And if that's the only guy you're competing with, then you have to be S tier.
Like I said earlier, I think those are the top 2 guys in the game.
And I don't think it's crazy to say Luka's better than Steph, like as a basketball player. I don't think that's crazy.
Yeah, dude, I was like this close to buying a Luka jersey yesterday.
I don't blame you. I was thinking last night, like Luka's like really one of my favorite players. Like I can watch Luka all day, every day. Like I watch a lot of match games just to watch Luka Doncic.
They had at the store by my house or by my dorm. They had it on sale for $60.
Oh, you should have bought it.
I might have to go back and buy it. I don't know.
Yeah, a Luka jersey is a must. Like
I know.
That's a dub.
Lonzo Ball.
Very polarizing player. Some people love him. Some people think he's not good. Injuries included, man. I would say he's probably about C+. But I think that's just where Zoe is. He's a above average point guard. Does everything that you need him to do. He's never going to be, I think, the superstar that people thought he might have been, but he does all the little things, man.
I agree. Great defense, great playmaking. Shot creation and shot making has gotten a lot better as years have come on. Top of C, better than Cade right now, I think. Cade will be better. At least I hope so.
Yeah.
But Lonzo, I think top of C is pretty solid.
I think he can be one of those star in his role kind of guys, man. As long as he can just get a full season with that. Like we've never really seen a full year of Lonzo Ball.
I agree. Shea, I'm a known Shea Gilgeous-Alexander hater.
Oh wow, I don't like that, man. The only issue I have really right now is like, I wonder if he's actually the point guard of that team or if it's Josh Giddey.
I think it's Josh Giddey.
I think so too. But since we got Shea here, I think he's right around CJ right now. Like I think he's right around that range, man. The only reason why he just doesn't play enough games, man. They keep shutting him down. I want to see a full year of Shea, see how good he can be, see if he can be an all-star, and see if like maybe OKC, because it seems like every year they start off good when Shea's playing, and then at some point they shut him down, and it's like, okay, now we're a terrible team because obviously our best players.
I tweeted this out once. It didn't go over well with the Twitter community, but I think that Shea, you remember how Dame was a few years back, where it was like everyone was saying this man is underrated, he's really good, to a point that at a certain point it was like he's no longer underrated, he's pretty properly rated, everyone knows he's good, so you can't say he's over or underrated anymore. I think that's kind of what's happening with Shea. I think
that's fair.
I think my problem comes with the fans rather than him as a player.
OKC fans are very. Yeah.
it's like, yeah, we all know he's good. I don't think he's underrated anymore. I think he's worse than CJ. I think he's worse than Drew, but he's better than. He's pretty similar, but I think he's better than Fred and better than Jamal. All the guys in B tier besides, the top two.
Yeah, and I think his ceiling is still pretty high. It's just a matter of like we said, just you got to play a little more. That's the only thing. Just want to see him on the court for a full year.
All right. Damian Lillard.
Last season was bad because obviously he was playing hurt. We know when Dame's healthy, he's probably top 3.
Mm-hmm.
His year was bad. I know if we put him on C tier, it's just going terrible. He was not good. I would still probably throw him in B because we know how good Dame is, man. He was playing injured.
Second or first?
Probably put him first. We know how good Dame is, man.
Yeah.
I think this season, he's going to get right back to top 3 point guard. I think Portland's going to be a million times better than they were last year. I think people are kind of sleeping on them just a little bit. But, man, like I was going through the game where Dame dropped 55 against the Nuggets. And bro, when he's healthy, he's incredible, man. Off the charts.
He's a very talented player. My only question, obviously, is he's aging also, along with injury problems. Like he's not crazy old, but you can definitely tell that he's gonna start regressing soon. I think top of B is fair, especially for last year where he who knows how much of his not producing is from injury and how much of it is from him just getting older. I think a majority of it is him just being injured. But I think there's definitely part of it where he just isn't getting better anymore.
Yeah. For sure.
Kyrie. I think he's A.
You think he's A? I think what we saw last season, he's still an A tier point guard. Just gotta play. He's gotta play.
I was just watching some Nets games last year when he played, obviously. And like when he played against Timberwolves and stuff, and it's like, this man is unreal. Like,
is crazy, man.
There was a period in time where I thought he was the best point guard in the league.
That's a hot one.
I think he's better than Chris Paul.
Think he is? Sure. That's fair. I think right now, 37-year-old Chris Paul, I think Kyrie's better when he's on the court.
I'm almost even like he might be better than Darius Garland, but I'm a chill. I'm gonna keep him there for right now.
I'm gonna say no because Kyrie played 25 games last year.
True. Yeah. Exactly.
Season.
Yeah.
That's one thing, man. Well, I mean, who knows where we'll even see him play this season, man. It's still up in the air. But yeah, when Kyrie's on the court, man, he's one of the best in the world at what he does.
Yeah. LaMelo is B tier in my opinion, but we have so many people in the B tier, so I'm gonna put him in the D tier. No. Okay, before we do this, I did not mean to do that. Should we drop De'Aaron Fox down?
I don't know if De'Aaron's the right one to drop.
I was thinking Jalen Brunson.
Reese or De'Aaron last season? Who do you think was better? I'm gonna let you make the decision. This is your video, anyways.
That's tough. That's actually really difficult. I know fans of both sides are screaming, "It's not that difficult. It's him." De'Aaron was better.
We gotta move Reese down. I think with Reese, his best basketball is ahead of him. He's gonna be easily in the B tier next year, like at worst in the B tier.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
LaMelo, I think he goes in B tier.
I think he is too. Are you high on LaMelo?
Kinda. I mean, I view him as just like any other top pro. I don't even know how to feel about him. Like, I
would probably put him right where you got him, right there.
There.
I think he's really good. I want to see that jump. I know he's only going into year 3, but we saw Anthony Edwards kind of take that jump. I want to see LaMelo do the same thing, like take that big year 3 leap. I really want to see that. I think he has the capabilities. I just got to see it. It looks like he's going to have all the opportunity in Charlotte to do that this year. So we'll see.
I think I want to put Fred above LaMelo.
See, I've been thinking about that for my top 10 list, and I'm still not so sure if I would put Freddie ahead because LaMelo is a lot for Charlotte. Like, he does so much for them offensively. Freddie could get away with playing kind of bad, for the second half of the season because you got Pascal, you got Gary Trent, you got Scotty. They got a lot of different guys that can go get it. So it's tough, man. I think if you say Freddie's better, I'm not mad at you. If you say LaMelo's better, not mad. They're kind of like right there with each other as far as last season goes.
Yeah, I think Freddie. I'm gonna put Freddie above him just by like a smidge, very small amount.
That's fair.
Looking at the guys we got left, I think
Trae Young's S tier, personally.
Yeah, I think it's between John and Trae for the last S tier spot.
And since we said top 3 is gonna be S tier, Trae arguably he had an MVP caliber season. It's just the Hawks were an 8 seed, so that's one of the reasons why he was not nowhere near in consideration. But led the league in points, assists. He's a top 10 offense by himself. He's amazing offensively, man. And his game just keeps getting better. Like, he added a lot more mid-range shots last season. Float game's incredible. The lob game is incredible. Good 3-point shooter. Like, he does so much, man. He's incredible.
think this is a pretty perfect list.
I think so too. It's just like, I think the only thing is like the Dame thing is kind of like weird. I think people are gonna look at that like, Dame B tier? What? But I mean, based off of last season, I think we're giving him a little more respect than maybe he deserved because he was not good when he was playing. But it's Dame, so we know how good he's gonna be when he gets back.
Now this is a guy I really enjoy watching. One of my favorite players in the league, young players.
KPJ, man, I got mixed feelings.
I think KPJ is a C tier point guard. With in the future, I think he can become a B tier point guard.
You would hope so. He showed some flashes that he can be the point guard of the future for Houston, but I don't know how real that is. I'm not sure, man. I'd probably go C tier too. I would probably put him at like the end of C tier though, in my opinion.
I'd rather have him than right there. I think I'd rather have him than Mike Conley and Reggie Jackson.
I think it depends on your team.
Yeah.
If you're trying to win now, I'd rather have Mike Conley. If you're building for the future, definitely KPJ. That's fair. His highs are really high, but his lows have been bad so far in the NBA.
His lows is throwing stuff at people.
Yeah, I'm not even really referring to that. Like in Houston, even like he's had he had I think a 50-point game his first year there. But then you look at his like stats, it's like, oh damn, he like that 50-point game was kind of an outlier, you know, when you look at his totality of the season. We'll see though this year. I think Houston's on the right track. Hopefully he continues to develop his point guard game.
This one is a controversial one, but I have my personal opinion on this.
I think Russ is overhated. You got him in D tier.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. 18, 8, and 8 for Russell Westbrook and his shooting splits and just the lows of the season. That's a D tier season for him. But for some other people, that's damn near like a B tier season. So it's like, it's kind of tough.
Well, I think for me, I watched a lot of the Lakers last year, and it was just dumb mistake after dumb mistake, just throwing the ball away, trying to be the guy. Like, the thing is, you can look at the box score stats, and he has beautiful numbers. But you watch him play, and he just doesn't know what he's doing. Like, he thinks he's a younger version of himself, and that hurts the team more than it helps. So the 18 points is nice, but the occasional game where he has 7+ turnovers, it hurts the team more than it helps.
It's the Russell Westbrook experience, man. D tier seems so harsh, though. It really does.
Okay, there's a little bit of bias there.
It seems very harsh, man. I think Russ, I would probably put him right around Mike Conley.
I think I'm gonna put him below Mike Conley and move Reggie Jackson to the D tier.
You know what? That's fair. Reggie Jackson, it's not really a starting point guard, so that's fair. I'm not mad at that. Russ, he got a lot of him and Frank Vogel really got a lot of the blame. They definitely deserved their share, but I don't think it was really all them. We all knew from the jump Russell Westbrook, that fit would not be ideal. I think a lot of us, like my thinking was, I thought Anthony Davis was going to be better. I thought he's going to be like MVP type season. And obviously we think LeBron is a superhero and can pull anything, you know, turn any team into a playoff team. I mean, it just wasn't the case, man. It was just a bad fit all around. If he's back in LA, then we'll see how year 2 goes. If not, I'm not sure what the future for Westbrook looks like. But yeah, that super down year, man. It sucks to see in real time because we've seen how good he's been. But now it's like teams don't want him, which is just crazy because he's only like 33, I think.
Something like that. Well, Russ is one of my favorite players of all time, but I will not stray away from saying how terrible he was last year. I think where we have him is fair. Maybe up. I had Mike Conley. I think I'd rather have Mike Conley.
I think I would. So I think Mike Conley is more stable than Russell Westbrook at this stage in their careers.
And it's like for KPJ, it's like I'd rather have the high highs of KPJ than the high highs of Russell Westbrook.
You're higher on KPJ than I am.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly why they drafted Ty Washington, because they're like, KBJ's good, but is he a starting point guard? I don't know. Maybe a 6-man. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but I think all three of those guys are kind of like same range ish.
Well, Cole Anthony. I love the Magic. Another team that I'm under the table fan of. But I think he's a C tier ahead of Lon.
Yeah, he had a really good year.
Had Alonzo behind Tyrese.
You got him that high? I would probably have Cade in front of Cole Anthony personally, because I felt this is my thinking. As the season went on, Cole Anthony kind of cooled off. Because remember, beginning of the season, he was like going insane. Like he was scoring 28 here, 30 here, having like 10 assist games, grabbing like 7-8 rebounds. He was going crazy. And then eventually that shit cooled off. And I think as the season went on, Cade slowly got better as the year went on.
Now, what do you think about this?
I think that's fair because Zoe missed so much time.
Yeah.
And like, Zoe's impact is something that's just like stats are not going to show. But I think all five of those guys, if you include Marcus Smart, are like upper echelon C tier. Like they're, they could all potentially be B tier, but it's just like right now, none of those guys I think are. I think going forward, we can see Reese jump up, we can see Cade jump up, maybe even Zoe, maybe even Cole Anthony too. But I think right now C tier is perfect for them.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think about Malcolm Brogdon then?
Didn't see a ton of him last season. I would put him probably right behind like Smart, just because we didn't see that much of him. He's been injured. He's right around there. He's gonna be good for Boston though.
I like what he brings to the table. Overall, I like his defensive upside. Same thing with his. When he's on, he's one of the better defending 3-point shooting point guards in the league. I think that's fair right there. I think I'm looking at Kyle Lowry. I think I'd rather have Mike Conley than him.
Kyle Lowry is just like, I can't think of moments from him last season. Like I know early on he was averaging like a decent amount of assists, but the injury bug kept hitting him, and he just wasn't really great at any point in the season. So I don't think that's crazy to say,
Now, what do you think about that?
I think that's cool. I think Mike Conley has just become like kind of forgotten about, but I think he's still very stable, very solid. So yeah, I don't think that's bad at all. That's cool.
Yeah. James Harden. For James Harden's standard, last year was like a C tier season, but he's still one of the top point guards, man. What do you think here?
I think that's fair, man. He wasn't all NBA last season. But I think objectively better than Dame, better than Drew. So I think he deserves to be higher than them. But I think everybody ahead of him had better seasons. Even though Kyrie's season wasn't a full one, he was better than James Harden.
I think for me, James Harden, it was like beginning of the season was definitely really rough. But then when he got to the 76ers, he was putting up crazy numbers, like James Harden numbers. Yeah. That makes me think that the low A is fine for now. Next year, obviously, he could be higher in the A tier, but I think lowest, like A minus, I think is what I'd rank him.
I mean, he was averaging like, I think 21, like 8-9 assists. Like people would kill for that kind of season.
Yeah.
He just like did it on a bad year. And like you said, like we saw like there was even a stretch when he was still in Brooklyn. I think it was around like Christmas-ish, where he was putting up like the 30-point triple doubles again. We're like, oh shoot, here comes James Harden. And then it slowed back down. Then he got traded. We saw it again. I think that's more so like the hamstring must have really been bothering him that much.
Yeah.
So hopefully this full off season, like he can get back to being, bona fide top 5 guy, because we know when he's healthy, he's probably like up there with Trae Young, with Luka, with Steph. Like he's arguably a top 3-point guard in the league.
Oh yeah. I 100% agree with everything you just said there. We'll see though. That's the biggest thing. We'll see.
Definitely.
Now this is tough for me, but I think John Wall is a D tier. But
we didn't see him play last year.
That's why. I think we've seen him play. We haven't seen him play in 3 years. Or, I mean, we saw him play for 40 games in 1 year, but he had scored 20 points a game on terrible efficiency.
Terrible efficiency, yeah.
You could put me on that Houston Rockets team and give me the minutes John Wall had. I would drop at least 2 points a game. But
I think D tier is kind of disrespectful. I will probably put him like right where Russ is, like right around that area. Just for the simple fact that we didn't see him last year. Last time we saw him play, yeah, it was bad splits, but he hadn't played in so long that I think it was still kind of impressive that, okay, John Wall can still kind of hoop. Like he's still okay. He's still all right. Like he's okay. You know, it's a bad team. He's okay. I'm hopeful that I don't think he's ever going to get back to his Wizards days. Maybe not even close, but I think he can be stable, solid vet, like how we see Mike Conley, you know, Brogdon, like Kyle Lowry when he's healthy. I think he can be right around where he is. I think that's cool. That's what the Clippers need. D tier is just kind of crazy. I don't know. We got Reggie Jackson and Trey Jones there.
I'm the king of hot takes. All right.
That's a hot one. That is a hot one.
Yeah,
you said Timberwolves are breaking the franchise record for wins, which is like 60 plus games. So
and then we saw Rudy Gobert shooting, and then I'm like, yep, I was right.
Hey, we got to talk about that real quick. His form actually looked decent. I was so surprised. I thought it was going in, but he missed. But I thought that was money.
Dude, looked like he strapped it for a minute there.
Man, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he comes out and was like 35% 3-point shooter next season.
He's learning from Cat.
He might. That would be like the craziest like trajectory. Like Rudy Gobert, no offensive bag at all, to being a league average 3-point shooter.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that'll be it. I think this is a pretty good tier list. Yeah, I appreciate you for coming on the channel. We got to do this again. We'll have the second part up one of these days here for rating shooting guards.
Yeah, if you need another guest to come rank players, it's that time of year. I'm more than available to come, chop it up. This was a W video. I think the list is pretty good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think we did a good job.
Only thing I would have is Russ in the end of D tier, but yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Remember to subscribe to City Boy Jelson, and check out Rik's stuff down in the description down below. He makes fire NBA content. See you guys next time. Peace.